A new league in Path of Exile means it's time to jump back in to see what all the hype is about. Let's go! And you're not alone. Shattering new records, Path of Exile saw more than 320,000 people concurrently. 50k more than the previous concurrent record. That's a lot of people playing Path of Exile. And the servers were stable enough to handle it, so surprisingly, if you're used to these league starts, a lot of times people get disconnected for whatever reason, but given how many people are online,
a lot of people,
and the number of disconnects, I think it's very impressive. Overall, I'm gonna break this video into parts, just so I can kind of concentrate my thoughts together. First is problems with the league so far, and we're going to go over Neversink's tweet. And then I'm going to share some of my opinions playing with the league so far. We're going to go over how some people are dealing with the league mechanics, some things people are doing. And then at the end, we're going to go over some memes. It's going to be fun, you know? We're going to leave on a good note, as always. Even if it's a bad situation, it's still, at the end of the day, Path of Exile. It's still a fun experience. The general mapping is still good. First off, similar to Neversink's, I am also just entering red maps around level 86-ish. I'm playing Wave of Conviction Ignite. If you're not familiar, you can see some of the gameplay here on, I believe, the top right of the screen. Where you throw out a wave of fire, things get burned, the burn spreads. Burn, burn, burn! Kind of like STDs, and I'm going to offend somebody if I finish that joke. But, you know, it kind of spreads. And everyone gets ignited, gotta catch them all. It's great time. Although long, he does make some very good points about how the league isn't very rewarding, how the Crucible mobs themselves aren't dropping enough loot. As an ARPG player, you just want to go through things, you want to blast things, and want to see a bunch of loot explosions, right? You're not getting that. You're getting almost no quantity from the mobs. Any source of currency you're getting is interacting with the league mechanic, and that's leveling your weapon through the Crucible mechanic and hoping to hit a skill tree with divines or exalts or something that's worth your time. Because once you hit the node, you still have to keep grinding map after map after map to get XP into the weapon to push the node. Another issue is the UI isn't very intuitive, and it also slows down the gameplay. So in order to interact and use the mechanic, you have to sit there and channel on an obelisk for God knows how long. In my head, I've been counting 10 seconds. I think around like 14 seconds is when like the super omega unkillable mobs come out. It feels like it scales exponentially. I'm not even sure if it does. I don't have the numbers to back it up. But if you charge it for very little, the mobs are so easy to kill, so weak. And if you charge it too long, they kind of run at you. Like there's no defense against it. So similar to a lot of people, what happens is they charge up the Crucible mechanic right away, not realizing that you're not supposed to charge it. And these mobs are super overtuned. You can tell I'm doing almost no damage and I'm getting stun locked, and that's at the very beginning. But it doesn't really tell you how close you are, and sometimes the bar goes up a lot because you're holding it for long, and sometimes it feels like it's not going at all. And you kind of just have to sit there for 10-20 seconds. You know, when you're mapping and you're having a good time running through maps, going uber fast, and then you're forced to slow down and stop, click and hold this button, it interrupts the gameplay, and I feel like there's a better way to reward a player for interacting with the mechanic. Like if there's a slider or there's a certain button you can just press to spawn, that I think that'd be a lot better. Also, a lot of players in the early league, for a lot of builds, uniques are a big power spike. And the fact that you can't use the Crucible mechanic, the basic Crucible that you find within maps, you can't use that with uniques. It's kind of, you know, kind of sucks. You need to get a geode and then go to a special map, and then you use your unique there. We can go more into that a little bit later as well. And here are some people's thoughts on selling the Crucible weapons for currency. So as you're doing the content, you get this new weapon, you put it in, and you start unlocking the tree. And sometimes the tree will say you get a currency node, which is rare in itself. So hitting the currency node is pretty rare. And then you get the currency node, and it says sell for 20 chaos. And you kind of do it because you don't have anything better. But that could have been, you know, another weapon that you're leveling up or putting into the Crucible. And it's kind of like taking all this progress that you would, you know, finding a new weapon, finding a good weapon, trying to build a good weapon, and you're kind of gutting that to get a little bit of currency. So it ends up being this cost-benefit analysis that people do. They want to see, oh, should I go for a new weapon, or do I want to get 3 divine orbs? If you hit a 3 divine orb currency node, then you pretty much just go for that, or hit a 1 divine orb. I myself, I went for like the 1 Exalt orb drop because I think it was tier 2 and it was very easy to get to. Not too many maps, and it's just how I've been playing, how I've been using the currency nodes. I haven't gotten to the point where I wanted to put all this time and effort into a rare, because at the end of the day, even if you have a good rare base, you still have to craft the rare itself, and that's a lot of players don't really know how to craft like a good rare, like myself included. I slam essences and I pray for the best, or I go and buy a Omega GG rare, and I haven't even found the geode yet. Playing this weekend to unlock a tree for a unique that I'm using. And here, some people's thoughts are, you know, this feels like a league that's you would get after a league ends, like a little mini league or something. Some people are saying GGG is splitting their attention between this league and PoE 2, and it feels like that because there's a lot of nuances that should have been caught in beta testing or quality testing. Some players are even saying like, we are the beta testers, like we're beta testing. It seems every league that they release, it's in an incomplete state, and then after a week or two, then they come up with some fixes, and it's always some hot fix right around the corner. And the players have to run into all these situations. And, you know, to be fair, when you have a really complex system or something like that, you know, some things slip through the cracks. But a lot of this feels like it wasn't really tested. No one really sat there and played it for too long. They looked at it, they made sure it worked, and it came out the door. It's hard to say. I don't know how a company like that functions, but these are some of the thoughts that the community, specifically the Reddit community, has been emanating over the past few weeks. You know, for some people, what's the best way to deal with the lead mechanic? So I haven't gotten a geo myself, but other people have, and the best way to do the geo content is to just ignore it and run right past all the mobs. Don't kill any of the mobs, run to the end, run to the forge, put your unique in, and then get out. And that, to me, sounds like terrible design decision, where you overtune the mobs to a point where you don't even want to interact with them because they're just so overtuned. They have so much HP, and they run so fast and they hit so hard.
Don't look behind you. Okay. Don't look behind you!
Why? Like, I just want to get my unique. I want to make my character stronger. And, you know, for us as players, we see this as an option to skip the content because we don't want to do it. But I feel like they're gonna get this the wrong way. They might patch it to make it you have to kill all the mobs, and I can't imagine that, because, oh my god, it would just be brutal. You know. And you know, as this person said, it's very sad. The best way to do Crucible endgame is to just skip it. If you get a geo, just skip to the end, put your unique, and get out. That's not something you really want to tell the players. It's like, hey, our previous league was the best one. You should have played that one. Like, you know, it really feels like they're really gutting the game down or making it a lot slower or harder, artificial difficulty wise, to prep people for PoE 2, because it's harder to keep these systems in check when you're making a game that you go zoom and you have all these variables. People are making these game-breaking builds, but it's easier if everything just gets nerfed down instead of everything get buffed. We as players don't like it when things get nerfed. We rather would see other things get buffed. But if PoE 2 is a much slower game, then, you know, this is just what we're gonna get. We're gonna get a lot more easement into PoE 2, and I feel like it's as too similar to like Overwatch 2. Maybe they're just trying to capture a completely new audience as well. They're trying to generalize the content more, make it less so for like the hardcore players. But if, to me, as a casual PoE player, it feels like they're going the opposite of that. They're making it more hardcore because now things are slower and harder, and, you know, hard to say. But the best part about every league, when Crab hits the spinny thing, you get the memes. Imagine you're just sitting there in the middle of the map, you're channeling, you see no mobs around you, and then you see this Roa like 50 screens away. You're like, I'm just gonna chill here. And then all of a sudden he just starts charging at you too. It happened to me so many times this league. I'm just charging. It has happened to me. Oh my god. It says that's what people expect PoE to look like in about 10 years because of the stupid battle pass icon that you can't click away. GGG, why are you doing this? Like, there's an icon. They recently added something this patch called the Keurig battle pass. That's not what maybe that's not what it's called, but that's what it's called to me. And it's a battle pass. It's similar to all the other games. You do stuff and you unlock more things in the battle pass. There's a freemium and then there's a premium. Freemium are all the stuff you get for playing the game and you get it for free. Premium, you pay a little more and you unlock the premium portions, usually in the form of exclusive skins exclusive to that league. And in this case, you get the diarrhea skin or whatever. If you move it, look, your bowel is having jalapeno intestinal times. But you can't click out of it. You have to actually go there and collect your rewards for the notification to go away, which is really annoying. And that's where this meme comes from. And the trade site, in classic PoE fashion, the trade site, because there's so many players, is down. There are really nice features that they added. You can whisper people directly using the trade site. There's a button you just click and it whispers the person. You don't have to tab back in and copy and paste a message. And if someone whispers that they want your item, it gets highlighted in your stash. So those are some nice updates. I don't know when those were added in. I haven't played in a long time. Like I said, I dabble in PoE. I come back into the league once in a little while. And it feels like they're making kind of the same mistakes again. I wouldn't say over and over again, because a lot of people say Sanctum League was really good, but it does feel like they're doing generally the same things. Unkillable mobs, you know, when you stack a couple mechanics of rares, when you overlap a few features, that on top of the Crucible scaling for whatever they're doing in that scaling situation, it's just not fun to shoot something that's basically a damage sponge. No loot. The quantity from Crucible mobs, very low. Not very enjoyable. It's just kill things and then nothing happens. And yeah, it feels like it's just Arch Nemesis all over again. But at least in Arch Nemesis, you kill stuff. You get big loot explosions depending on how you, depending on what you put in. I am having fun, but it's because of all the other components of PoE. The actual Crucible mechanic itself feels kind of like a chore, but generally mapping, you know, they came out with a few Vol skills. It's still a good experience. It's still fun. At the end of the day, if it's fun, you know, I liked it. I liked how fun it was. Like going through maps, playing builds, leveling through the story, not so much. But I do it because, you know, I like making new characters. I don't like sticking to one character, and fortunately I still have the mental fortitude to do that, to go through story campaign so many times. Breaking news, live update from GGG. Crucible League changes are out. Crucible monsters now have less damage reduction and they have less life, which means an easier time to clear your maps in Crucible. They're also improving the rate that you get experience for the Crucible trees. In addition, the geodes are now dropping a lot more common than previously. Remember that annoying button I was mentioning earlier in the video? Well, you could just right click it and it'll go away now. All these updates are live in the game as we speak. Boy, I'm a huge fan of these, hey, it's out now, go kind of things. And now back to your regularly scheduled content. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys having fun in Crucible? Have you tried Crucible? Or are you wondering why is this guy covering PoE content all of a sudden? I play PoE, I played a lot of it. Back when it wasn't on Steam, and now that it's on Steam, not that many hours on Steam ever since it got on Steam. Like, can I show this here? Like 1,300 hours, not as much as Lost Ark, like this, goddamn. But yeah, let me know how you guys enjoying the league so far. All right, thanks guys, thanks for watching.